It is almost now under control, Iman. The police have moved the crowd from the square that is in front of the Gauteng Legislature on the side of Resick Street. They managed to move the crowd from here. It's pretty much dispersed. But the challenge now is, how do those people that came by buses get back to those buses that brought them here? Julius Malema emerging out of the Gauteng Legislature a while ago, basically saying that things started getting out of hand as he was coming out of the legislature. You'll remember that he had been staging a sit-in there with the leadership of the EFF, especially the Gauteng leadership of the EFF. They were sitting in the corridors of the legislature as the budget votes of the various departments that were tabling today were happening. And throughout there was this tension as police, with the crowds outside, tensions kept escalating between the police and the crowds that were chanting outside as they waited for Julius Malema. Finally, it all came to a head just about 30 minutes or so ago when riot police moved to disperse the crowd, and the crowds were throwing stones towards the direction of the legislature. And as I talk to you, much damage being done to the legislature door, certainly on the side of Resick Street, a number of people being injured in those battles between police and the protesters. Iman?
You're speaking about damage to the entrance of the legislature. What exactly is happening to us?
They threw stones. The crowds were throwing stones towards that door. That was the focus, really, of the battle between the police and the crowds. You had people using all sorts of things to sort of break the glass of that door, throwing stones at the door, and also using sticks and whatever really they could find to throw at the door. EFF leaders were calling for restraint. I could hear someone, because I was stuck right in the middle of the square. There's a little tree. There's a tree that has been planted there that is sort of to beautify the place. That's where we were stuck. So I could hear clearly someone saying through the loud hailer, calling them fighters and saying, "Fighters, cease fire! Fighters, cease fire!" But I mean, those calls really fell on deaf ears at that particular point.
Right.
A number of people throwing stones towards the direction of the door. A number of people being hit as well, Iman, by rubber bullets. And I saw a man who really looked in bad state. Julius Malema saying he helped to carry that man to the car. And as that was happening, Julius Malema alleging that police were still firing at him and firing at the crowds, even as they were trying to move away from the legislature.
You deserve to know more.
ENCA.com